Hey guys. Um, so I think I'm just kind of getting everything ready. Just give me 1 second. We're gonna bring Chris on board in a bit. Let me know how the sound is. I've decided to change. I've decided to get rid of the microphone noise gate earlier today. Some people were kind of complaining about that, and I listened today, and it did sound a little weird. There was always this like right before. You know, I started speaking, and every time I hit a keyboard, so I've just gotten rid of that. So let's bring Chris on in just a bit. Hey, Spherical Penguin, how's it going? Son of G-Dace. Maybe I will do it. I wonder if I have ASMR. I was listening to some ASMR Let's Plays. Alright, so let's bring on... I'm going to start a video call with Chris. And then once he's in, you guys can let me know how, if his volume's okay. Hey, Chris.
Hey.
Hold on, give me a second, let me... Right. Edit scene. You are live now.
Cool.
Chris is fixing his hair. And let me set up screen share.
Cool.
So cool. Can you see the screen?
Give me 1 second. No, I just see your like Google Hangout image.
Ah, right. Present.
There we go.
One. Yeah, it's because it has like one more step.
Gotcha.
Cool.
Cool.
Just let me ask. Hey, everyone. How's the Right, just checking in to see the volume. Hide. He's around. Okay, they're saying you're a little bit too loud. So
I'm a little too loud. Okay.
okay, I think that's a little bit better
I can
now.
change. Cool. I'm gonna actually get on the stream so I can see the chat as well.
Right. So I was thinking what we would do is kind of talk. We'll start off with some of the tree stuff. Kind of just update everyone on that.
Okay.
And that would be like a good place to start, and then we'll dive into kind of the door and square box cube activator system, because I think that's been refactored. They're saying that I have a better mic than you do, but
yeah,
anyway.
mine's just my laptop mic, so.
Well, if they can hear you, then it's all good. So
Cool.
Yeah, so first of all, like, you know, for those of you who didn't come in yesterday, one of the things that Chris has been working on is getting some of these trees to work well in the editor. So, yeah, we've been kind of having this problem too. So, for example, you know, I've got this tree here, and this is a blue gravity tree, and if I copy it over, we can actually make it, and I bring it to this wall, I know from this gravity gizmo that it's purple, and I can hear Chris has added this drop down menu, so then I can make it purple, and then these little gizmos here are the places where cubes grow from, and here's this other tool that allows us to have boxes that are dropped before. In fact, why don't you tell us a bit about kind of like writing this and that system with having
sure,
with having the trees kind of drop. Yeah.
Yeah. So initially we just had the tree system would spawn a cube on the tree and it would initially like drop one on the ground, and it would like spawn one on the tree, um, and and so like how do I explain this? Like
Yeah.
there's you basically spawn both of the cubes. One cube is known to be the one that falls. One cube is known to be the one that stays on the tree and that the player can pick. And the one that falls from the tree, um, basically, if it's picked up by the player, sends a call back to the tree, um, letting it know that, or sorry, if you pick the one from the tree, it sends a call back to the tree, telling it to like respawn the one like out in the world. Um, and then so that's how it used to be. And Willie asked me for like the specific ability to like pick where you place a cube in the world, and so that's this yellow gizmo you see, with the green arrow pointing to the green box. That's like the specific location where you can spawn a cube.
Right. So basically, now we've got. I can basically just drag in this prefab. What's it called? The cube spawner.
The tree cube spawner, and then the cube spawn point.
Oh, right. Origin
points.
point. I think that's the.
Oh yeah.
That's for the. Right. So I can drag it in here. Right, and then it basically tells us that. But first thing, I need to make it a child of. That's right? Like the origin point needs to be a child of the specific tree that it's part of, and then we have this drop cube on start. Why does it need What's the difference between right now I gotta check drop cube on start and then check spawn at position? Why does it need to have that two-step setup?
So if you don't have the spawn at specific position box checked, the box will just spawn right there and then fall onto the ground. And so that, like, if you don't need that extra specificity of placement, it'll just drop straight from that point.
Oh yeah, I don't think that would ever.
And that's the idea there.
I guess it's good to have that just as an option.
Sure.
Although I suppose the other way to do it is just to have the green box always generated, and then if I want it to fall on the ground, then I simply select it and bring it down, right?
Yeah. Yeah, that's interesting. I like the chat. The 33% more ceiling fan.
Oh, that's right. Funny. And your forehead cam is quite popular. Yeah, sorry about the sound in the game. Is there a way to just disable volume for Unity?
Yeah, in the game window there should be there's like a mute audio
mute
button.
Audio? Okay, we'll do that. Let me try that again. Right. And so some of the stuff we were talking about earlier was kind of we're trying to get the so kind of the stuff we were dealing with was having the material of the cube lined up correctly with well just have the material showing properly, right? Because that, I think right now the box, the part of the box that's inside the leaf appears to be the same color and opacity when really we want it more like here where it's slightly lighter inside the box. Is that, I know we kind of, that seems to be like an issue with instantiation of the material.
Yeah.
And maybe something to do with the order at which it's rendered.
Yeah, so when I instantiate that cube, I know I had what I had started it with was it would spawn as like transparent, and I set like specific render modes, some like specific shader property at like specific values that keep them transparent and to work that way. And then once it drops from the tree, we now know that it's going to be fully opaque forever, and so then I like set them to opaque values, and I guess what we're seeing here is that the values that I set for the transparent version don't really work, and then I need to revisit that.
Right, at least at the beginning. So,
Yeah,
one of the things we're going to change is Vivasser asks, is it... Yeah, I guess it's a transparency sorting thing. Because, yeah, I think it's just confusing which one to draw first.
yeah,
So, one of the things we're going to fix is these are cubes that have never been picked before, and if they've never been picked, they should actually appear opaque. But that's a really nice... So that's another bug we've got with the box falling through the floor sometimes.
oh yeah.
Did we ever figure out the shadow issue for the fake transparency? We were talking, you said that's actually a bug in Unity, right?
Yeah,
The
like
crosshatch.
crosshatching
Where is
shadows.
it? Let's
Yeah,
this shadow. So yeah, Chris was
yeah,
saying it's actually going to get they might patch it out in future versions of Unity.
yeah. That's what I would guess. It if you turn on soft shadows, it actually like looks a lighter color, which is probably what they intend, maybe.
Yeah,
Like,
you mean with let's see,
yeah,
if I
if you
make
want
it
to show
soft
it.
shadows, yeah.
Yeah, my guess is that Unity expects people to use soft shadows because hard shadows like don't look as good in most cases, and
Right.
so like, and so then they don't think of that as a bug, more as like this is like the halfway step to hard shadow or to soft shadows.
Right. The thing is, I just feel like
Yeah.
the that crosshatch feels a lot more stylized, like a
Oh
lot more
yeah,
intentional, which I think works well in this game.
yeah,
It also just, it's nice to have this kind of pattern that breaks up the. I don't have too many colors, so it's nice to have like shadow patterns that are interesting.
yeah.
Oh yeah, so right now the reason why they are turning back, kind of with this faded color, is that just because the emission is set to white?
The sorry, what?
Well, you know how right now the box on the tree kind of grows back in that like super.
Oh, the light white color.
Yeah, although I guess it's somewhat inconsistent. It goes between the light white and the transparent.
Hmm.
Um,
Do those boxes have different settings on them? Maybe.
I guess, yeah, but it's all the same box, right? Like when I pick it off, all we're doing is changing values in the material, and
Yeah.
not swapping out boxes.
Right. This isn't like instantiating and destroying. It's just like taking the old box and putting it back up.
Right.
That's
Yeah, so it looks
interesting.
like that's an issue with the kind of transparency mode, because
Yeah.
even it's not even at the start. It just even when it grows back in here, it has that problem. Uh,
Yeah.
Something about I just thought of something about the mechanics. Say you drop a box in one gravity and then flip to another gravity. Does the box freeze in midair or keep falling in its gravity? It does freeze in midair.
Yeah.
Spherical Penguin asks, have you tried building it as a build instead of in the editor? That has sometimes solved some of my issues with lighting materials. The editor is just weird. Yes, I mean, even when we run it, it's fine. It's more... A lot of what we're working on right now is trying to, like, streamlining the development process, the design process. So it's actually all about in the editor. But yeah. Oh, I think we still need to add having the leaves transition color. It does instantaneous now.
Oh, it is instantaneous.
It is instantaneous, yeah. But I think once we get like color fading in, it's going to be really nice.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, so let me show you guys some of these. Oh, I think we screwed up. I didn't put the correct... let me go into the double gravity tree. They're not set correctly. So is right now what this is doing, like, do they have edit in editor, execute in edit mode or something set up?
No. What do you mean?
For
Like, what would the effect of that be?
I mean, because so right now when we are okay, so right now what we can do is we can select a tree and then choose which gravity direction it belongs to, and it automatically changes the material inside the editor.
Yeah.
Is that just from like a code standpoint? You like I noticed you didn't have to have execute in edit mode.
Oh yeah. So if you scroll down a little bit, there's a function on validate, and that's something built into mono behavior. It's like built into the Unity default class, and this function gets called every time you change a value in the inspector. So it runs through this, and
Oh, I see.
yeah,
Oh,
and so the way it updates the color if you change the drop down menu is it every time it validates, every time something changes the inspector, it checks if the you've changed the gravity direction. So it stores off the previous gravity direction.
I see.
And yeah, so that's how it updates and knows when to update.
Is there a reason to you like so what would be the biggest difference between execute in edit mode and on validate then? Because it sounds like I can
Uh,
change values in the inspector and have the changes applied.
yeah, I think execute in edit mode also does like the update loop
Right,
in edit mode. And
right.
I don't think we're using an update in this, but that could cause issues in different ways. And the good thing about this is it's cheap because it's only called if you're changing the inspector rather than every single frame
Right.
edit mode. Does anybody
Uh,
in chat know for sure if execute in edit mode like calls update in the editor?
I think the way I've done it before, I believe
Yeah.
it. No, I don't use update. I when I use it, I always have it in like start, and then I just have a boolean that it's like if it's false, run it, and then after it's run, it sets it to true.
Oh, interesting.
But that's because I use execute in edit mode for generating a lot of those fractal shapes.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so Andy James Adams says
Yeah.
execute in edit mode does call in update, uses the editor update frame.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just the thing is like when you're using it to generate stuff, if you're not careful, then I end up crashing Unity. Um,
Yeah.
the functions, hey Grands. Well, first Diganashi, yeah, I'm not gonna. Okay, we might change the pattern shadow then. Um, Grant says functions are not called constantly, like they are in play mode. Update is only called when something in the scene change. You know, I've always had. Oh yeah, that's just straight from the docs. I've always had weird issues with execute in edit mode though. Like when it says scene changes, does that mean if you move an object around, that calls execute in edit mode? The way I always do it is I would hit play. I would like disable the script, hit play, and then stop play, go back into the editor, and then hit execute and then like enable the script again, which does get a little bit tedious.
Yeah.
Oh, so that's very cool. And then so like one of the problems we've been having is, you know, and this is kind of something if you've been tuning in the previous streams, is that we'd set all these, you know, these stream materials up, and it's wonderful. We can see everything, but then we would load another scene. Right, so we load another scene, and then when we go back, it would. Let me reload game feel Redux. Oh, right. So all the materials are gone. Oh, and you said for the single gravity, that's also and it turns out this is a Pro Builder problem.
That's what I'm thinking because ProBuilder stores its mesh data in the scene rather than like generating them as assets in your project. And so what I'm thinking is when it loads these into memory, those aren't associated with a material in the same way that meshes usually are in your project. And so it like tries to load in the associated material, but there's nothing there, and so it just sets it to null instead.
But like, okay, so if I do, like, if I create a Pro Builder object here,
Sure.
I can apply a material to that. So let's do cube like just whatever. Um, oh right, so I gotta like select all faces, and then Alt 8. So we've just made this glass. But how come? How come in this case then? I'm pretty sure this works because I've done it before. This is how I make glass. When
Yeah.
I come back, that material will still be there. Um, is that? Is there a difference? I couldn't we simply replicate whatever process was going on in the back end when I just applied the glass material to the box and applied it
Sure.
to see, yeah.
Okay, so that was correctly.
See, yeah, that stayed. I wonder if it's
Yeah.
yeah.
So I'm in the editor mode. I'm assigning the material, the shared material, like the file material to the shared material of the mesh render.
Okay, so here's
Maybe
the leaf.
Program has like a special process that I'm not like replicating.
Oh, I see. Right. In which case, you know what I think might be. You know what? Here, let's try this. Which is, let's go ahead and delete the ProBuilder script, because you know the thing is, once we've merged it, so this leaf, like I built it with separate ProBuilder boxes, and
Yeah.
now I've merged it all. So I actually don't need ProBuilder in there anymore. So
Yeah.
why don't we go ahead and try removing the ProBuilder script, and then just see what happens. Strip ProBuilder scripts and selection. This will remove all ProBuilder scripts on the selected object. There is no undo. Please exercise caution. Okay. So that's
So,
been
so
stripped.
when I tried this and reloaded the scene, the mesh itself was deleted, and there's no way to recover it because it
Oh
was stored in the
shit.
scene.
Really? Okay. That
Well,
hasn't been a
well,
problem for me.
the prefab won't get messed up. I think just this instance will get messed up as long as you don't apply it.
Interesting.
But,
Okay,
but you should try it.
let's try it. Okay, we changed color. Let's do this. We're gonna save the scene, exit, and then come back and see what happens. Your spherical penguin asks, you're applying the material through ProBuilder, but your other scripts that assign the materials isn't, then maybe ProBuilder doesn't save it. Okay, yeah, that's kind of what we're
Yeah.
talking about. Don't save. Oh shit!
That's interesting.
I think it's not letting me click anything. It's still loading, actually. The scene's still loading.
Okay.
Okay, no, so that works. So it turns out it is a ProBuilder problem.
Interesting. Okay.
Well, of course, I should also mention that Chris, you've been developing on a Mac,
Yeah.
and that's been fine. But I guess there's some stuff going on that's a little bit different. So I wonder,
Yeah.
you know, like, why don't I go ahead and apply it? So, oh fuck,
Uh-oh.
I've just made everything. Ah, that's. Oh no.
Oh man, you can revert the prefab in Perforce.
How do I? Yeah, I guess I can do that. The just load the latest. We'll do that after.
Okay.
Uh,
It looks like Andy James Adams likes Apple, and that you said, "Oh shit," when you did that prefab.
no, it's because so this is something actually we still haven't quite resolved. So basically, we've got the tree right, and you know we drag in the origin points, which are
Yeah.
other prefabs, into the tree, and it needs to be a child of the tree. The problem then, and the reason why we do that is because all the trees have different origin points. You know, like here we want these cubes to be separate from, you know, where we don't want the cube to spawn at the tree. We want it to at least start the game in a different place. But then the problem is I hit apply on the tree prefab, and now it's incorporated those origin points into the tree itself. And I feel like this is if I'm doing this here in this like sandbox level, this will probably happen in in a later stage. Like, if I once I start putting this tree in 20 levels and then I hit apply to prefab and have it change. I don't know. Is there? So I think maybe one of the things we should talk about is how can we set up a structure so that this doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, I think having like the prefab of the tree be like separated from the origin points is a good like thing to do if we can't figure out a better way. Like, I think that
right.
will work.
So we would do something like so maybe we should do that where we've got this tree. Like perhaps what we can do is it's not the it's kind of like the way we're doing the door switch combo. We have tree origin combo, tree and spun cube combo, and then we would put the tree object underneath there and the spawn points in there, and then do a click and drag in.
Are you thinking that would be um, like that would be a prefab, or that would just
No,
be
no,
like a
no.
marker?
Yeah, this wouldn't be a prefab because
Sure.
then, because the problem is separating. If we separate the origin points, then in the hierarchy, it's going to be really annoying to see like which origin points belong to which. Like, what's great about this is
Yeah.
like, yeah, it's clear, but then there's the problem of me hitting apply,
Yeah.
uh, which is always annoying. So if we did it something like this, where we have the tree
I
inside
see. I see.
and then the origin point here, yeah, we'd break this prefab, but at least this way, then I can copy this. It's not ideal because then I lose that high level.
Yeah. I think another way we could do this um, is if you click on one of these trees, like with origin points. Um,
So this one,
yeah, that one's fine. And then go into the game object menu.
going to the game object menu. You're talking about the
Yeah.
inspector?
The like
Oh,
the
game object. Yeah.
Unity menu. Yeah. So you can do break prefab instance, and now this like will be separated from the prefab, so you like can't break it by applying a different prefab.
Yeah, but then you lose like if I want to make some changes to the trees. If let's say I change
Yeah.
material or whatever, then that doesn't get. Then I can't apply it to this tree.
Yeah. This is like the big problem that all the Unity developers like harp on a lot is that Unity doesn't support nested prefabs.
Ugh. Yeah.
We should talk to David about this because for Tetrapulse, and this is kind of specific to their game because they have like big level sections that are like randomly generated together, so they needed some kind of nested prefab system. But they do it where they have like a scene that holds like prefabs together. So like there's one scene with a tree, and we like apply where the cubes would be, and then that whole scene represents the prefab that holds
Yeah.
sub prefabs. I don't know if that would work with this game since you kind of need to know the context to show where the cube will spawn.
Right, and I need to see this.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we'll need to figure something out. I mean, this could work down here.
Yeah.
Of course, then the problem is, when we grow a tree in the game, it would have to. We couldn't
Yeah.
just grow the prefab. We'd have to generate the parent and then put this thing inside. Hi, Orgrim. Which I haven't
That's-
seen the Hunger Games. Is he talking about you?
Yeah, he's talking about me. It's so funny because Kyle Bailey like once like thought of that and then spent the whole day like trying to remember who the person was that he was thinking I looked like. So that's kind of funny. I mean, maybe that is Kyle, and
Nice.
he's just like making a joke.
Oh, Peter. Is Grand says
Yeah,
Peter.
PETA.
PETA, okay.
Yeah.
Andy James Adams says you have to change the position change for the blocks because it becomes local space. Uh,
Well, if you drag them off, Unity maintains their positioning.
right. So you want to be able to apply prefab changes, but not universally for all settings of this instance. Sounds like is that possible to do this nested prefab like to create our own nested prefab where we basically would have I mean we'd basically be overriding this apply button in the editor, right?
So I think at this point, after like 8 or 9 years or whatever of Unity's development, like if somebody hasn't made that and Unity hasn't like taken it, I feel like it's probably unrealistic to think we could just do it as like one of many tools that we're already making.
Let's just start this like massive campaign. Get 15,000 signatures.
Yeah, that'd be.
All right, we'll just deal with it. Yeah, I think
Yeah.
let's go with this one, the one we had before. I think this is the safest, because then I won't accidentally having to make this tree spawn cube combo. Because usually every time I do it, I just I click and drag anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, the other thing we're thinking of is writing a tree generating a tree generator.
Yeah.
Although I think even with the tree generator, we wouldn't want to just like randomly generate trees in real time, right? Like what we'd want to generate a bunch of trees and then pick out the ones that work the best, that fit what we're looking for, and then make those prefabs and drag them in around. So yeah, let's we'll do that. We'll continue our my series. I don't know if we basically in the last few streams we've been doing a series of notes for Chris. As you can see, there's been a bunch.
What?
Which is
That's awesome.
we start out the stream reviewing all the changes
Yeah.
you just pushed, and then that's why after the stream I like put all of those in Slack.
Oh yeah, that makes
notes,
sense.
Notes
That's
for
funny.
Chris. 20. It's like a series. I'm thinking maybe it can like be a book or something.
Yeah,
Notes for Chris. We'll change.
that's hilarious. That's gonna be part of your GDC talk.
Yes.
Is you just scroll down like pages of notes for Chris?
Right. So change the. Okay. Well, first of all, delete Pro Builder script in tree leaf object solves the material issue, the null material issue, and then let's make the tree combo a parent that contains tree prefab with origin points. Because then, I guess the nice thing with if we have the origin points inside this tree combo, then I don't need to do the clicking, and we don't need to like drag it inside the tree inspector, make those connections. It can just call from there. Grands is going to make the nested prefabs. Thank you. If you could have it for us by tomorrow morning, that would be greatly appreciated. Infinite scroll feature. And I'm not sure what you were talking about, Minjai. Let's try that with just the double gravity tree, because I know that was the one that was giving us some problems before. So let's get rid of. Yeah, it's interesting. Maybe we should talk to some of the Pro Builder guys too about this stuff. They're really, really great with taking feedback and making changes.
That's cool. Do you know if like we have the source to Pro Builder, or is it like
I think
a DLL?
we do. Let me double check with you on that. Another thing that would be cool is I don't know if there are any Unity users here, but I can talk to Pro Builder guys about maybe we could do like a giveaway here or something. Giveaway key to Pro Builder if anybody wants to play with that. They actually used to be based here in Chicago, and then moved out to LA. about like
That's
2 years
interesting.
ago. But I was kind of hoping that we could get them to, or Gabe, I think, to give a talk at at like Chicago Unity meetup.
Oh, cool.
But that by the time I reached out to him, he had already moved. Like I missed him by just
Uh,
about a month. Um,
Dang.
yeah, it would have been awesome because we don't have too many people that are like just making like a really solid Unity plugin.
Yeah.
Spherical Penguin. There might be some Unity users here. Bueller. Apparently, some mice have scroll features. Who's Ferris?
Ferris Bueller is like a movie.
Oh no, I know Ferris Bueller.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
I know. I was just wondering where is that coming from? I mean,
Oh,
how can you not? How can you live in Chicago and not have seen Ferris Bueller?
yeah.
That's like you're supposed to. They like force you to watch that movie when you move here.
I think he's talking about the scene where the teacher is like, Bueller? Bueller? And he's like waiting for Bueller to respond.
Okay, don't save this. Oh, I see. Oh, that doesn't have Monument Valley. Okay, that was too big of a jump. Um, okay, yeah, so that works. That solves our issue. Although it does leave us with the problem. Okay, and then just talking about the color changing beams.
Yeah.
Uh, what do you? All right, so there's two options with this. Is one, we could have this prefab and it'd always be the same length, or should it be? And then if I wanted longer, I would just do the old, duplicate it, like
Yeah.
that, or do I do the one with, or do I go for this? Does Unity? Oh no, Unity does say that if you change the length, it does save the prefab. Right, like if I
You
if
could
I
try.
no, it does because I do it all the time with my
Okay.
level design. It's like position and rotation that doesn't get affected.
That's interesting.
Yeah. So size would. So I think perhaps what would be better is we figure out the kind of the fixed length of this.
Yeah.
And besides, I always do like the side. There's going to need to be a base on the side, so there's kind of like a minimum length, and then we just get rid of ProBuilder
Yeah.
script in there, and then we don't have to worry about losing the material at the start.
Yeah.
Um,
That makes sense.
That is weird. You know what? I think part of the problem is that you are because when I actually apply material to ProBuilder, I don't just like drag a material in. I do like you select all faces and then you use their material apply thing, right? So that's how I apply glass. So you actually have to select each face and then do it. So I think that's probably what's going on. Ed Riofer. All right, some people don't have. Oh, Jet User might have some codes for Monument Valley. Did you meet the Monument Valley guys at GDC? Chris?
Oh no, no, I didn't meet them. I thought you were talking to the guy who has the codes.
Oh no, the Ken. So like after it was kind of this funny thing where like I decided to stay for 2 extra days after GDC so I can like see San Francisco and not hang out with games people. And I got a friend from high school that lives out there, and so I was hanging out with him. And then he's like, "Oh, I got a friend that's got a barbecue. Let's go to that." And I was like, "Great, there's like you can stop talking about games for a little while," just because it was like GDC's like game.
Yeah.
And then I ran into Ken Wong at the
Oh,
barbecue,
nice.
who made Monument Valley. So it was like, not only was he the only other game developer I ran into, it's like he's basically making the 2D. Like we're making games that are kind of talking about the exact similar themes,
Yeah.
which is very cool. So anyway, let's jump into this like square, this cube activator system, and the with like the door controller and all that. Um, oh, did we? How come we lost the prefab here for the door?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, did you see that?
Are they all messed up or just that one
Well, they're
instance?
just not. They're not prefabs anymore.
Um, what happens when you click select on that door, on like the door that should be a prefab? Oh, I think the prefab is just messed up. Yeah, so if you like assign the door controllers or the line door controller script to that, that should fix it probably.
If I assign the oh, because this is missing.
Yeah, yeah, that one should do it. And if you apply that, they should all turn blue again.
Nope,
No?
nope. But that's okay. I mean, so we can just kind of fix it
Weird.
here. This is yeah, that is weird. It's missing the
So
sound.
if you selected one of the doors again now, and then click
Okay.
that select button, like at the top, that one's fixed. That's so weird.
Wait, it fixed it? No,
Did
it
it fix
didn't.
it?
It's still
No,
it's still not
I
a
was saying
prefab.
it was still messed up.
Right.
Huh.
Let me see. Download BlueStacks.
That's the like mobile game emulator for computers, I think.
Oh, and then you can make uh, App Store purchases and play it on there.
I haven't used it. I thought it was just for Android, maybe. I
Um,
don't know.
cool. I think it's probably just breaking now because we're making all these weird changes. But let's talk about that door controller and kind of the systems we've been. Oh, right. So one of the things we've done, and Chris, actually, maybe you can talk a bit about this, like how we're
Sure.
abstracting this whole system.
Yeah. Um,
Oh, you know what?
yeah.
First, before hold that, like let me just run in and show people in the game. Actually,
Yeah.
I'll run into the game and you can talk.
Cool. Um, yeah. So if anybody's seen the game before, you put cubes on buttons, and the buttons activate a line, and the line activates the door. Um, so when I came in, a lot of these systems were kind of tangled up, and the button like looked into the script of the line, and the line looked into the script of the button, and the line looked into the script of the door, and the door looked into the script of the line. Um, and I came in and wanted to like separate all that stuff out. And so instead of having in the update loop of each of these things, checking the state of each of the other things, um, each of these components only knows about the state of itself and can give callbacks to the other scripts when something interesting happens. So if the button is pressed, for example, that gives a callback to the line to start moving. And if the line fills up, that gives a callback to the door to open. Um, and so this is more efficient. This is keeping the code cleaner and more readable. Um,
Right. So,
and yeah,
like right now, we've got the so the square itself has a cube line activator, and then on the line manager, the line is broken down into several smaller pieces, but the line manager is the important one. That one's got activator line manager, and so the callback you were talking about is in.
I think the door cube door or cube line activator. I think is what
Okay,
it's
so it's
called.
in the actual activator itself.
Is that right? Or
Yeah.
sorry, the callback is in the activator line manager. Um, yeah,
Okay, so actually, Andy James Adams is asking. He's unfamiliar with this callback thing, so I guess we can
yeah,
run into that. Although one of the things I want to get to is I think um, I there's a possibility. I think I might want to rename some of this stuff. The activator line
sure.
manager is fine because I think this cube thing I might make it not line dependent for some of the later stuff.
Interesting. Okay.
I'm not totally sure yet. I still need to test it out, but I
Yeah.
think it would be good to even separate just like what do we call like cube square activator, or we do like without the line and then the even
Yeah, it
the
could just be cube activator.
right. And I
Yeah.
think even the yeah just cube activator right cube activates it. And I also know that we made we'll get to this. So now this line door controller is both an extension of the door controller class
Yep.
and the iLine interactable class.
So the iLine interactable class is the interface. Like that's just something we talked about implementing. I looked into it, and it made sense to use the interface for that. So we can talk about that. I think Andy James Adams questions about callbacks will
Right. So
lead into
let's
that maybe.
where okay, I'm in CubeLine activator script now, and the
Yeah.
callback is
It's in activator line manager.
oh sorry,
actually.
activator line manager. Okay, right. So this is the script that's controlling the line.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's where is it? Further
Up at the
down?
top.
Up at the top.
Yeah. Just like the
Oh right.
declaration.
Yeah.
Um,
No wait, that's
keep going up. It's a variable. Should be. Where is it? Um, Activator line manager. Can I use a callback for this part? Okay. So this is actually different. This changed when I changed to using an interface.
okay. Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah. So now the activator line manager holds an array of like I-line interactables, so like things that it can affect and like activate or turn on, and then when it fills up and it's ready to like activate things, it goes through the for each loop at the top here and activates all of the things that are in this array. And when it's emptying, it does the same thing.
Okay, I think this is all totally new to me. Well, I don't. Let me just see if there's like a quick example of the activator, the callback stuff, just so we can show
Callback,
Andy
sure.
James Adams. How about the gravity cube? That has one.
Yeah.
Okay.
On gravity shift, I think is a good example.
That's in gravity cube script. Ah, here we go. Callbacks.
Yeah.
Right. This is it. Yeah, I'm in gravity cube in.
Do find references on pickup, and I think you'll find
Pickup callback?
no, just the
Oh.
name of that function. Yeah, and then you find all references.
Okay, yeah, we can talk about it in single gravity cube.
Is it? I'm looking for the place where it's added to the callback.
Oh. Uh,
Oh wait, here, look, on gravity shift. That would be a good one to look at.
is that, that's in. Ah, okay, got it. Right,
Yeah.
right, it was just
Yeah.
here.
So if you find all references of on gravity shift, I think that we'll be able to get back to the like actual callback.
Okay. Final, now on
Yeah. So the top one where
double
it says
gravity cube?
conceptual. Or the second one, sorry. Yeah, and then if you right click on where it says gravity shift callback,
This one?
yeah, and then do go to declaration or go to definition. Yeah, okay, here we are. Yeah, so here I'm using what's called a delegate, which is it's basically like a variable that holds a list of functions or one or a list of functions, and you can call this variable like a function, and when you do that, it will iterate through the list of all the functions that this stores and call all of them.
I see, right. And because the way we did it in Gravity Cube is and here we add, um, right, so here we're adding the plus equals to on gravity shift, we're adding
Yeah,
our own function in here on gravity shift to the gravity shift callback, which was in, I guess I can just go to definition. Right. So
yeah,
in our rigid body, in the player script, yeah, in the player script, you first declare this
yep.
gravity shift callback, and then in all these other scripts, you're just like, whenever gravity shift callback is called, oh, so run this one.
So the idea is that a lot of different things in the game care about when a gravity shift happens, and so they they subscribe to this callback basically, so they're notified when the player does a gravity shift. Um, and it's like a really useful tool to like keep your code out of the update loop, and um, it's also helpful for like for the rigid body controller, for example. The rigid body controller doesn't know about the walls, doesn't know about the trees, doesn't know about cubes at all, but all of those things know they want to hear a gravity shift callback,
Right.
and so that allows us to like keep them all separate for the most part.
Yeah, because the way I was doing this before was I would have the player and I'd be like, I have this boolean called I am shifting gravity, and then all the other objects I'd have like check if player is calling if that is true, and I think this just makes it a lot easier to both organize
Yeah,
and then it's just a lot easier to read. So
yeah,
that's callback. I don't know if I think Andy. Let's kind of just back up on some of these questions. Fancy invoke function based. Yeah, it's fancy invoke function.
yeah.
Vivasor, yes. C sharp regions.
All right. I'm gonna grab a charger for my computer. I'll be right back.
Okay. So Chris will be right back. Yeah, C sharp regions are really great. I didn't know about them until Chris came on board either. He wrote a bunch of those. Okay. So Andy James, don't worry about being a noob. I was a noob for much of this. Jet user, are you still talking about? Are we still talking about the same subject? Everything is the chat is going so fast. Something about Mieka Kure. Let me make a quick Twitter post too. Okay, so I guess Chris' computer went to sleep. Dread user. Wait, are you saying the you wouldn't encourage the use of delegates? They're only useful when it needs to vary? Is that there's too much stuff going on? Yep. All right, so Chris's computer's gone to sleep. I'll see. I'll talk to him. I'll check with him, and see, he'll probably be on in just a bit. Um, but anybody have questions? Okay. Ooh, where is this coming from? Ah, answer. Chris,
Hey.
let me pull up screen share again. Chris is
Okay.
back.
Uh,
Your computer went to sleep.
oh no.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
Yeah. I was just finding a cord, I guess. I'm gonna shut off.
All right. So that is. um, okay. So that's callback. That's delegates. It is really useful. I'm not sure. Jet user said he doesn't like to use. I actually have no idea if he was talking about this or something else. Um, but we'll go back to this cube line activator. So I'm so with calling it the line interactable. I think can we even go more even general? Like just maybe be like power upable, like turn onable, or well, why don't you walk us through what this you said this is an interface.
Yeah, an interface. Yeah, if you
Okay.
right click that and then go to definition, um, yeah. So the idea of an interface
Oh.
is that, well, in C sharp at least, you can only inherit one class at a time, and so we can only inherit one class, and maybe we want to also um, know that this new class we're making has to implement certain functions and has to be usable by um, other systems in our game, um, in a certain way. So like this is a good example of um, in relativity of things that can be used and activated by the line.
But why
I
not?
mean,
Why not just make it things that can be active and inactive? So like, so right now it's like it's the door is listening to see if the line is filled or unfilled. But why not just have the line set the door to be on or off? You know what I mean?
yeah. That's actually the thing that I changed for this is that the line now keeps a list of things that it wants to activate. There's a dog here. Sorry about that, guys.
Okay.
Close the door. He'll be quiet. He just barks when people come in. Um, yeah. So before it was that um, the first version of the system using delegates had the line manager subscribing the door to the lines callback, and so the button, like the cube button, knew about both the line and the door and was telling them what to do. But this way, now the line activates the things that it knows it should activate, and we're not really like passing around too much data.
Okay.
Oh, like
So
Andy James Adams has a bunch of tabs open with all the
everything we're talking
callback
about.
stuff.
So okay.
Yeah,
So
that's awesome.
basically, right now we've got this interface, and it has two. These are functions.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Online filled. Online fulfilled. Steven Lexovsky asks, "Can he see the game?" I am just gonna go ahead and link him to Steven. I'm just gonna link you to the PlayStation E3 Relativity live stream, just because that does a much better. Um, Job of kind of explaining the game. So okay, so we have this interface and it's got these two functions, and the
Yeah.
idea is that so this line public class line door controller iLine interactable. It's saying like the line door controller is an extension of the door controller because we also
Yeah.
have doors that are not directly interacted by the cube activator. And the it's just so and then it's saying like it's an extension of this door controller class, and it uses this interface or like
Okay. So an interface is different from like inheritance because an interface is just a promise that you'll implement the functions within that interface.
Oh, I see. I see. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
interesting.
we know everything that the line can activate needs to know when it's turned on and when it's turned off.
Right.
And so we want to like make this promise that we'll have those things in case another script like activates, or yeah, in case the line tries to activate this thing.
Oh. So it's
Does that
kind
make
of like
sense?
a kind of a check for yourself. This
Yeah.
thing, right? It's basically making
Yeah.
sure that right. It's like as soon as you, it's then when you're reading this and you see this, you're like, okay, I know somewhere down there in the script there's going to be online filled and online
Yeah.
unfilled. Okay, and then you're saying void when when line is filled, it tells that the number of lines that are active is increased by one. If the
Yep.
previous line is active, if previous line less than, okay, right, if previous number of lines that are active is less than the required number of lines of active, and currently lines are active is greater than equal to the required lines are active. Are we doing this, and is that just like a redundancy thing? Isn't
What
isn't
do you
the
mean?
isn't
The
if
ampersands?
oh yeah, no, actually we need this, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like if before we weren't active and now we are active, open.
um
Yeah, and so the other thing that's cool about interfaces is that we can um, we can basically like check for interfaces in the game. Like if we like, let's say we're doing array cast forwards to look at an object that we see, we can check if that object has the interface, and then if it does,
oh
then we can like use the functions there because we know it has them.
Oh, I see. Because before I was doing stuff like I'd have to tag it or put it in a certain layer, like
Yep.
interface inline interactable environment, and now this all does it through the code.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, wonderful. Okay, so this is actually now really simple, right? Because so where does it? Oh, okay. So it's just saying if that line is filled. Oh, and then okay. So now, so it's saying okay when line is filled, this door is open, and when line is unfilled, door it's false. But where is all this happening? Set door open. Okay, that's happening in door controller, but like, where does this thing get called? Like,
Yeah.
that's
So
on the
that's an
line.
activator line manager. Yeah.
Okay,
So yeah.
so where does it? Okay, so this. So now it. How does it know that that interface is like involved in here? Walk us through that.
Yeah, so this is one of the, I think the only update loop I like actually couldn't figure out how to get around, and that's because of the way we're doing the line filling, where it's like mostly happening in the shader, and we're like testing whether the line has visibly been filled, um, based on like checking times. So we kind of need to do update loop for that. Um, so if you go into if you show the update loop. I think that's the best way to explain it. So this checks if the line is currently moving. So if it's filling or unfilling, then we go further and check. If the line is fully filled, then we do our finish filling the line function. And if it's empty, then we do our finish emptying line function.
Right.
So that's like very simple. We're not like looking into other scripts and like checking them. Okay, so when we finish filling the line, the idea here is that we like double check and make sure that all our lines are visibly filled up and that they're like stuck there, they're not changing anymore. We know that they want to be set like that. And then we go through all of the line interactables that we've like manually added in the inspector, and we call this function on them.
How do
like I
we
talked
add
about
the
before.
how do we add that line? Like, does it show up in the inspector or something?
So I kind of had to do like it's kind of a hack, but I think it actually makes sense. This might be interesting
Oh,
to people who like know what interfaces are, but if you look at the line manager, yeah, so you have it here. So we have this array of line interactables, and this is actually in code. This is an array of mono behaviors because you can't. Unity doesn't serialize interfaces, so you can't see them in the inspector and like manually assign them. And so I couldn't do what I wanted. So, but you can make a list of you can make an array of mono behaviors in the inspector.
Okay, so this is just saying. Well, sorry. Do we use ReSharper? Jed user is telling me I should use ReSharper. Maybe I'll do that after this.
I think that's a Visual Studio plugin, and
Okay.
because I'm on a Mac, I use MonoDevelop.
Right.
So I don't use ReSharper.
Okay, so this is like an array of line interactables, and I set it to 1, and I like what's going on here? Do I need to set that manually, or that's all?
Yeah. You need to like drag and drop in here the things you want to activate when this line is filled.
How does it know? But that looks like the. Oh, I was just. Okay, it's just weird that it's the it's the script thing that shows up and not the.
So that's the interesting like hacky thing about this is that this array isn't actually the like of type interface. It's
Right.
of type mono behavior. So if you go into the code again, on this activator line manager, there's an onValidate.
Right. Unvalidate, that's like when we
unvalidate.
change stuff in the inspector,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Yeah. So when we do that on the line manager, we do this weird hack thing that I came up with where we basically want to check our list, this list of mono behaviors, and if we've added anything to it that doesn't fit the line interactable that we need, like if anything that we add in there isn't a line interactable, we just throw it out
Okay.
and we like make sure that it doesn't get added to the list. And so this is like a hack to get around the fact that Unity doesn't serialize interfaces, and
I
it
see.
makes working in the inspector good and work in the same way that you would expect.
Okay. I am going to need you to go into the script and comment on
Oh,
what
yeah,
that you just
totally.
told me, because I can't even remember my own hacks. So I'm not going to be able to remember your hack. I mean, I totally like understand it now. And then, so once that's going on, it's well, you're doing for each, even though there's only one. And then it's just going through each one and saying, oh, hey, for each line interactable, for each thing that has that line interactable interface in our array of line interactables, hey,
Yep.
online is filled. Why can't it do something like the delegate where it just does like, oh, it's not a generic thing? Right, it obviously has to tell a specific interface.
Yeah.
Right. It's not it's not a game-wide thing. It's like instance specific.
Yep.
Okay, cool. I think so now. Okay, I get it now. So that's basically what we're doing. So let's say, what if I want to create? Let's say I've got this new game object. It's not a door. It's just like let's just say it's like a light, right?
Yep.
And let's just grab a light. We'll just kind of run through this very, very quickly. By the way, if any of you guys are enjoying the stream, make sure to follow that and tell us if you guys would like to see more kind of conversation stuff like this as opposed to just me talking and doing level design. And hello, C. Perrin.
Hello.
Yeah, actually, the line. Yeah. As you said, the line isn't how didn't know line was so so hardcore, and this is kind of something I'm really proud of, just because Chris, you said that it was kind of clever when you read the way I was doing the line emission. Basically, what we're doing is we're using the what am I even doing here? I've got like these separate components of these lines. They're all different lengths. I got these are corner pieces, kind of normal pieces, and basically what I do is I get the length of the object. So I just have the shader just applies it based on a percentage, right? Or no, it's consistent speed. The shader
Yeah.
lights it up in a consistent speed. But it's like, how do I
Hmm.
know when this whole line is lit up? And what I do is I actually just calculate based on speed of lighting up the line plus the distance, and I add them all up, and then I calculate the end time, and then the door just waits for that time, and then it opens, and it checks if that line is lit up, right?
Yeah.
Something like that. Or maybe I don't do it anymore.
Yeah.
Now that I'm doing this
No,
online build,
yeah, you still are. The clever thing I saw was that you go through each line and for each like segment you say like for the first one it's like start at the current time and then end like let's say like time modifier times like the scale of this piece,
right?
and then for the next line you say start at the previous line's end time,
Oh,
and
right.
then my end time is now like that number plus time or time modifier times length, and you like iterate through all of them, and it's just like it's a really clever way of doing it, I think.
Right. So basically, what happens is every line, like when they start doing it, it looks at it. We like calculate the start and end times of each line piece,
Yeah.
and then everything except for the first one uses the end time of the previous line to determine their start time. But I don't need to. But I don't use the. I think before I was using the end time of the very last piece to then figure out when the door to open is. But I think now we've made it so we're using the interface, and when you say online is filled, we call that, and then the door opens.
Yep.
Right. I think before I was using the time thing, which was a little bit trickier because I was having to then check if the box was still there and if you removed it or if you put it back, because there was that problem where you would put the box on the square and then remove it and then put it back within that same time frame, and the door would still open as opposed to restarting. Shouldn't opposite colors be opposite each other? No, it's red, blue, green, yellow, purple, orange. That's just how I've done it. Blue just felt like it's opposite to red. All right, so okay, so let's kind of go back to this last example, and then we'll finish up the stream. Is let's say I've got this object, and it is a light, right? And all I want to do is when I put the box on a switch, it turns on this light. So I would, let's. I'm gonna do an example, and so let's just call it light interactable. Interactable, yeah.
Yeah.
So that is my script, and then I would up here do I interface. Is that what's that thing called?
It's line interactable, I think.
Does it do
It's a capital. The first L is capital. Yeah.
How does that like whole autocomplete stuff work? Or does that do the autocomplete for? Okay.
For interfaces?
Yeah.
It's line interactable. Is that what you typed?
What did I
Yeah.
type?
Or, yeah, line. Yeah, that should work.
That does work. Okay.
Yeah.
And then now I can say like void. Oh, and then I'd have to be I line interactable. On like it doesn't do the autocomplete stuff, right? Or like how do
I feel like it should. I'm not really sure why it's not.
Okay.
Yeah, if you want to just copy that.
Um.
Line interactable.
Yeah, like I was wondering,
That's
do I need to
fine.
declare some?
I think Visual Studio maybe hasn't loaded your like symbols for this page yet because you're not getting any of the nice like
Oh
um
yeah, what the hell's with that? Even the like transform, right? Like
yeah.
normally when I start typing T,
Yeah,
um,
try saving this. Like maybe if you save it and then let Unity compile it once, then it'll work.
right? Yeah, I'll reload.
That was weird.
Not the weirdest thing we've seen. Ah, there we go. There we go. Right,
Cool, now it works.
right. Void I line.
It's reactable.
On line filled.
There you go.
Wonderful, wonderful. Okay, so now we're like, right. Okay, now that's pretty easy if we have the public transform point light. Then we're just like point light dot set active dot game object dot set active. Right. Okay, this is very handy. I feel like I'm like taking a programming class these last few days. Finally. Okay, and then we would. Um,
Yeah, I think that
oh,
should be
so
all
now
you
you
need.
know what? Let's. So then, like that means. Okay, let's just for the purpose of this, uh, line interactable. So I feel like program's one of those things where I have to do it to like really believe it. Um,
To
okay,
believe
so
it, yeah. That's funny.
so let's do this, and then we'll make this light like super intense, and we'll do it. We'll make
Yeah.
it red, so we see it. Um, all right, so this is the point light, and let's start off by setting the point light to game object set active false. Okay, so this light, if we run it, it should be off. Fiablasta asks, what are my specs? PC specs, I've got an 870, no, 970, GTX 970, AMD, CPU. I don't, like 8350 or something. Okay, Windows 7 Ultimate Edition. 1 TB
Yep.
on RAID. And an
That light is
SS500
definitely off.
gigabyte. All right, so that light is off, and then that means we can take it's in the line manager, and we will take.
Yep.
I gotta drag this element in.
Well, if you undo that, and then you can just drag it onto the where it says line interactables, and then it'll have both.
But how come now it's showing the entity and not the script?
I don't know. That's weird.
Does it? Let's see if it matters. So now we should put. Oh,
Should
this
still
is
work.
super awesome because then we can have more than one thing turn on at the same time.
Yeah.
Oh shit! All right, moment of truth. If this doesn't work,
Computer's gonna
if
crash.
this doesn't work, you're fired. It's not lighting up.
Did it work?
No, it is.
Is the line?
The line is
Oh,
lit.
yes,
The door opened.
There's
But-
an error.
Cannot cast source from. Hold on. Wait, let me bring in this console. By the way, you're fired. Line inner. Can I cast from source type to destination type?
Um,
But I thought we
here. Um, what would be the problem? Can you look at?
Yeah, let me close some of these. So,
Sure.
line door controller, right? Void.
I think you want to look at the activator line manager, and then look at onValidate. It might be like line interactables equals line behavior list to array. No, that should totally work. Have line. Yeah. So what's that first one?
Doors line controller.
Prize line's active. I don't think that's our issue.
Nope.
Oh wait, maybe the hierarchy is weird on the door.
It's not in the combo. Does it need to be?
I don't think that matters. No.
Right.
What would it be?
Because I see this line door controller and it just has the line interactable.
Yeah.
And you declare void on this. And
Yeah. What was the other error that came up?
the one at the very bottom was that hold on, let's clear this and just hit it again.
Yeah. Can you?
Someone, Diganeshi says, someone asked about my specs, and Diganeshi says his specs are very white and big. And Diablasta says, I'm in his PC specs.
That's pretty funny.
So that's not doing it. It says cannot cast from source type to destination type.
Yeah, let's see what's up with that. Uninteractable, unfilled. Source to destination. And that's the line it brought you to?
Mm-hmm. Like, does that have something to do with the fact that our line activator, our line manager, like that thing, it's not the script?
Yeah, try deleting that.
Deleting it?
Yeah.
And now...
Oh, you know what? It was putting in the PB object instead of the light script.
Right, so how do I gotta what, drag the light script in there?
Yeah, you might have to do like 2 inspector windows. That's interesting.
How did you do it this time, though?
There's only one script on the door. And so it just like defaulted. Or wait, why don't you go under the light object, and then do like click on the little gear on light interactable, and then move it up, and then just do that until it's at the top, and then I think that should now you'll be able to just drag on the game mode.
Oh, is that what's?
Oh, you gotta move it up
all the way
to.
out to the top.
Yeah.
Oh, that I can see that being.
I should be able to fix that though.
But it's not all the way at the top for the door, is it?
No, but I think the.
Oh no, I think it is.
It is
all the way at the top. Okay, so that might.
Yeah,
that's
interesting.
the problem.
I mean, that's like Chris's notes. That should be at the top.
Move it to the top.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, there we go. So what would I call that? That's it should line interactable
Can accept non like incorrect types, I guess.
incorrect types, but with the interface? Like, is there a way just to check?
Yeah.
Check that. Okay, so now let's try it. I can turn off the warnings and logs in the console and just show the errors. Yes, I should do that. Alright, let's see this. I think this should work now.
Hopefully. I don't think there's nothing now.
Ah! Wonderful. It is now lit. If you guys can see, it looks red. Okay, so now I guess we went over callbacks. And I know... okay, now I know how interface works. Hopefully you guys all found this useful. Again, Chris, me just a second here. Hold on. Is this C. Jacob Wade?
Yeah.
Yes. Alright, that's too big. C. Jacob Wade. Should have done this earlier.
Oh man, it's a little screen.
That's Chris on Twitter. I'll put him just right there. I guess if they have questions, you can contact Chris on Twitter and ask him. And hope you guys like the stream. Yeah, so we learned. Let's see, just to double check, call back, delegate stuff. That was pretty straightforward. And now with this interface, super handy. Yeah, I'll probably need to like write a few things on my own. Like I'm gonna try writing some weird stuff to get turned on and off. But yeah, I can see this being really powerful because like now I can open 2 doors simultaneously. Let's see. Yeah, and I think that's it. Thanks for taking the time to come on the stream and talk and answer questions.
I'm glad people are getting use out of it. It seems like Andy James Adams, D Kilmer too. Like, you're welcome, guys. I hope you can like use callbacks now on interfaces.
Yeah, we'll maybe do another one of these like a month or 2 from now once we get a few more things going in.
Yeah.
Great. So, yeah, well, I'll see you guys tomorrow. We'll do the we're going to have, I'm going to be playing this game, Siren of Mercury by Matthew Duhamel. I think you know him. He's from, he went to DePaul, and Mint, who you worked with, Chris, on their game Pshing, 2-player sword fighting.
Yeah, sword fight on rails.
It's like 2-player sword fight on rails, like distilled down to its essence.
Yeah. Do you mind if I link it in the chat?
Yeah, no, go ahead.
It's on itch.io. Pay what you want for it. The version there is like from the Train Jam this year on the week at GDC.
Oh right, Chris is a 2-time Train Jam survivor.
Yeah. Oh, what the heck?
I can link to it.
I think I got it. It's just like I had to sign into. Oh, what the heck?
How do you spell Pshing?
PSHNGGG. Here, I can send it to you on the Google Hangout chat.
Oh, I got it. It's the one. It's on Mint's itch.io, right?
Yep.
This is Pshing, which Chris worked on along with Eric from Trinket Studio, who's here in Chicago.
Yeah, Eric Wang.
Eric's working on Battleship Brigade. Wade is working on, or he just released Piloteer, and Mint, who's not from Chicago, but anyway, Mint and Matt. That's getting too complicated. Mint and Matt, they worked on Siren of Mercury. Tomorrow we'll be playing that and doing like a critique. Was Pshing at PAX last year?
No, I don't. It didn't exist at PAX last year. Maybe this year. That'd be cool.
Maybe this year. All right. Well, we'll see you guys tomorrow. So thanks again, Chris.
Yeah. Yeah. Have a good night, guys.
Okay. We'll go to end scene.